Hey guys, so I wanted to do a quick settings walkthrough. See how my settings look like. Okay, so the first tab, the basics page. You set graphics and FPS. Mine are set to excellent. I don't mind the standard FPS settings. Um, I don't have perfect millisecond response. I have about 100 milliseconds or around that when I'm playing. I don't care much about the shadow settings, but the resolution is set to ultra definition. This for me is important. Both graphics, excellent, and ultra definition. This allows me to see players in further distance. The standard style settings, instead of the vivid, helps me see better at night. Vivid makes the colors a little more expressive, but it's harder to see things when you're playing in a dark game. The other display settings under here, you can set this to whatever you like. Mine are set like this. And on the sound settings, I'm turning off the music because I think it's just distracting. Mic volume is set to high because I want to be able to communicate in a good way with the rest of the teammates. The sound effects a little bit lower. And I've chosen to only send mic and voice to and from the team. I know most of my teammates, they have voice from all, and most of them actually have mic to all as well. And this allows them to both hear when other players are close and communicate with them. For me, that is just distracting. I can't use it because I have a hard time figuring out if the other voices I'm hearing are people in vicinity to the players I'm playing with, my teammates, if they have someone at home talking or something like that. So for me, it's just distracting. And I prefer to be able to instantly know if my teammates are talking to me rather than be distracted by other noise. So that's why I'm not using the mic to all and voice from all. Under operation, I have a character sensitivity setting of 85 for both vertical and horizontal. I know earlier I played with 100 setting here, but I realized that it's much harder for me to make finer aiming. So I ended up missing like a lot of shots. This allows me to get better aim, but then again I can't turn around as quick. So this you need to set to whatever fits your gaming style. I don't play FPS, so this is still set to 100. Vehicle sensitivity 100 too, because I want to be able to quickly control the car or whatever I'm driving. Same with eye icon sensitivity. I use this a lot, eye icons. And I want to easily be able to see 360 around me, so this is set to maximum. And the camera sensitivity for different scopes, you set this to whatever you like, and mine are set like this. And I set it like this because I feel like when I'm using less zoomed scope, I want to be able to turn quickly and aim around me. But when I'm using a 4A times scope, I'm aiming at large distance, so long distance, so I don't need to turn around as quick. That's why I want the sensitivity to be lower. And I'm also using gyro. I know most players aren't, but I'm really a fan of this. Using gyro allows me to move more freely while still being able to shoot, even though it's single shots. If I'm not using gyro, I'm going to have a hard time using only my two thumbs to run both forward and sideways, jump, aim, and shoot single shots at person at distance. But using gyro, I can easily run sideways, jump, aim with 8 times scope for the person at 200-300 meters, and get good shots in, even though I'm using A94 or similar single shot weapons. That's why I'm using this. And the setting is pretty much the same all over. See now, this is 2.4, it should be 2.5 like the rest. But you set this to whatever fits your style. This works well for me since I'm playing on a small phone. I'm not using 3D touch, and this also differs. Other control settings differs between players as well. I'm using auto open on because I want to be able to run up to a door, have it open, so I don't have to use as much manual controls. It doesn't work all the time, but it works most of the time, which is enough for me. If it doesn't work, I'll use the manual button instead. And I'm also using the aim assist. I know most pro players turn that off because they want to be able to better aim at where they want to aim, like headshots and whatnot. But I find that aim assist helps me when I'm battling a player that might be hiding behind a tree on a slope, for example, or running. If I can't see him, I'm not going to be able to shoot him. But if I'm using aim assist, the aim assist is going to help me aim towards him, so I know which direction he's running, and then I can use my gyro to tilt the phone to make sure I get shots in, so I can shoot him even though I don't really see him, just know where he is. So it's useful. The classic parachute control and double tap to turn around are off on my phone. I don't use them. However, I am using climb assist, and this is to make it easier to just use the jump button to get in windows or get over walls when needed. I know it's not always a good idea because sometimes it's going to attempt to climb a wall when all I want to do is just jump shoot the person behind it. So it hasn't always been my friend, but for most time I think it works well. And using that, I also turn off manual wall climb because I don't want the extra button on my screen since I have a small screen. And the climb assist helps me to do what I want. I have vibrate when hit on because I want to feel when I'm getting shot. And the lean is on, and that's really important too because I need to be able to lean out from trees or behind walls to be able to shoot the other person without exposing too much of my body. And the 3D touch and double tap to build, it's not something I've ever used, so I'll skip those. In the advanced page, I'm using hold to scope, however I don't think it really works. I'm using the advanced mode as well. Classic is too basic and full touch is not useful for me. I like the area lock for lock sprint settings. It means I can just drag to the lock sprint instead of holding it for a while, and the character will run. This allows me to check my backpack and map and other things while my character is still running in the direction I want. Teammate marker settings, I have this set to simple mode. It's not always a good idea, I found too. I would prefer the full mode, but I've experienced issues with the full mode where I have a player name across the screen. I can't really see the enemy. So simple mode makes it easier for me to not clutter the screen with information that I don't have room for, because if I had an iPad or something larger, I would have full mode, but for my small device I need to use simple mode. Vehicle control sports mode. I haven't really tried the rest, but sports mode works well for me. The character's sight range is important. And when playing the Fearless Fjord map, when you get inside the plane before you drop out, you want to go into settings, change this to low, go out of the settings, go back into the settings and change this to high. Otherwise it's not going to work properly. But you need this to work properly, because other players will do that, and they will see longer than the people, they will see further than the people that doesn't do this. And as you can see here, I have gyro always on. You can put this to scope only if you want to try it out with scope, but I have it always on because this also allows me to run and jump shoot and adjust my aim by tilting the phone without using scopes or any kind of sights really. And this is really useful for me. I use it a lot, especially when just running up to a bot. Maybe I put a bot or a player on the ground. I want to finish him off quickly. I can just tilt my phone and use full auto on my SMG, and that's going to do the trick. However, there is a bug in the game. So if you use gyro always on, the experience when driving a vehicle or sitting as a passenger is going to make you car sick real fast. So driving is really hard because the sensitivity is going to feel like 1000, 2000% of what it should be. But if you're as a passenger, if you lean out of the car getting ready to shoot, then it's going to be much more stable. If you're inside the car and not hanging out, it's going to be the same as with driving. It's going to be crazy. So you need to hold your phone incredibly still to be able to play. But I still have it on because for me it works well for all other areas than when driving. Moving on to pickup settings. I use auto pickup because I feel it's really useful for me. I don't want to be stuck looking through a heritage and scrolling through things, having that open and not seeing enemies around me. So if I use auto pickup and I have this set to the most common needs, then I can run up to a heritage box and the auto pickup is going to get the most useful things I need. So I can still run up to a heritage box, look around, make sure there's no more enemies, and walk away with good stuff. Yeah, so setting here is auto pickup on, and I pick up primary weapons. This allows me to pick up the first two weapons I need to have. These could be anything. This could be shotgun or SMG or sniper or anything. And the ways this works in my favor is that I'm always going to have a gun early on. But since I have auto pickup on, if I pick up a gun, I want it to load the mag instantly. But if there's more things to pick up, it's going to keep picking things up. And if I'm landing somewhere with another enemy and I need a gun quick, then the auto pickup might start picking up things instead of loading the weapon, which allows the other player to load his weapon first and start shooting. So it's not always good. So if I'm landing somewhere where I notice an enemy, I'm going to make sure the auto pickup picks up stuff for me, or I'll help it out and I'll move away from the stuff that is on the ground to get it to load the weapon quicker. Then I can start shooting, and when the enemies are dead, I'll continue with the auto pickup for the rest of the stuff. I don't want pistols, so that is off. And I want it to pick up even though the heritage box is closed. Also, it's really useful to use this for higher level backpacks and cold weapons. If you don't want it to auto pick up guns or other gear, then I still recommend just having it pick up higher level backpacks for you. Then you'll always have the highest level backpack as you can have. And these are my settings for the ammo. I feel like I'm usually good with 300 bullets for rifle, SMG, and sniper rifle. Sniper could probably be less, but I like having a lot of ammo for sniper as well. So if I'm going with sniper, I want to be able to feel like I'm not going to run out of ammo. If I'm using pistol, 14 bullets is more than enough. Shotgun is usually enough with 80. Bow and arrow, 50 if I'm using that. And the rest, RPG, grenade, and vehicle mounted ammo I don't feel like they've ever done anything useful for me. Not sure what the grenade setting here even does. Um, Maybe it's for the grenade launcher. Not sure, but haven't had any use of those. For meds, 8 bandages is sufficient. 6 med kits are sufficient too. I don't want to pick up first aid kits because if I'm in a fight, not easy, need to refill my life quickly. First aid kit's gonna take too long, and it's gonna be the first selected if I get knocked down. So med kits instead, 6 is enough. 10 sports drinks are enough, and also 10 cardio tonics is enough. For grenades, I feel like 3 grenades are sufficient as well. Same with firecrackers. Chicken grenades are no longer existent. The rest I can pick up if I need manually. And for scopes, I pick up 2 red dots and 2 2-time scopes. And I do this because since I'm using auto pickup for weapons, I want to make sure I always have a red dot or 2-time scope on either of those weapons. Don't like the holo sight, so that's off, but if I only have one of these, then I might encounter a first 2-time scope, and it's going to be auto-fitted to one of the weapons. But if I encounter another 2-time scope, and I don't have a scope on the second weapon, it's not going to auto-pick up. So using this, I'm sure that I have a red dot or a 2-time scope at all times, and I have one 4-time scope and then one 8-time scope. This does, however, mean that sooner or later I'm going to have a lot of scopes in my backpack, and I can manually throw those away either when I'm a passenger in a car or running on auto, but it will clutter the backpack. However, I find this is the easiest way to do this. For scope settings, I have the quick scope switch on. And I have that on because since I'm using auto pickup for scopes, sometimes just running through a heritage box or dead bodies on the playground, suddenly I'm gonna have an 8-time scope, and I don't even know about it. So just clicking that while I'm running and I have on screen, I'm gonna see which scopes I can attach. So I can switch from a 4-time scope to an 8-time scope that I suddenly have, and that's useful for me. For the color settings, I'm using white color for all scopes because I feel the contrast is better with the player, so I know what I'm hitting. I think red or black are default, but white works well for me. And then lastly, we have the custom layout. I'm going to show you mine, but this differs for all players. The 8 button I want big and I want it close to my left thumb, that's why it's up there. The map, I think it's about default size. I want the lean buttons to be easily accessible by thumb, as well as the scope button, the firing buttons, and the running button. So all this is easily accessible by thumb. I'm going to be a natural progression from shooting to scope, like this. I don't lay down as much, so that's hidden away up here. I do however crouch a bit, and I don't want it to interfere with shooting, so it's tucked away on the side here. I'm not using the manual climb button, but I am using the jump button. So going from jump to shoot, it's and from scope, these are very much in line, so it's easier for me to move between them. Backpack for meds and grenades are also easily accessible, but not in the way still. Same as the backpack. Backpack's going to be tucked away down here, and I don't want it to interfere with navigation, which it doesn't at the moment. But this is for me a good place to put it, not going to be in the way. The audio on and off button up on the top, don't use as much, that's why it's up there, but I am using the microphone on and off down here on the left. So that's why it's closer to my thumb than the audio on off. That's about it. That's the settings I use, and also the car settings. I find that I think there's a bug in the game still, that when I have a car far off in the distance, if I'm looking at that direction, I'm gonna have this in the way, and it's gonna be really annoying. So I'm actually gonna move this a bit because I don't want it where it currently was. Maybe even make it a little bit smaller if I can. Yeah, I'm gonna try that. But then again, these are settings that you set to whatever works for you. So try out what works, see what's good, and then go from there. These are my settings. That's all. Hope you found this useful. It's useful for me, and good luck playing.